All right, hello everyone. This is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game one in a series. I don't know if I have enough time to cast all three games anymore. I'm recasting game one because there was some technical issues that came up and just was very annoying. So hopefully I am a little bit sad right now, but this is game one in a best of three. And this is also a 2v2 matchup. So I have seen a lot of this game already. Hopefully I will still keep track of the minimap and what's going on since I already know what's going to be happening. And hopefully this game does not disappoint you. Now the teams are going to be human versus undead, which is on the right side of the map. Meanwhile, it will be against orc versus orc on the left side of the map. So orc versus human undead here on Lost Temple. And yes, I have not cast a 2v2 in a while, and WarCraft 3 games just generally tend to go a little bit longer, as it's possible to just try to salvage and save games. And we'll see what's going to happen here. I lost 25 minutes of my life trying to cast this game, and now we'll see what's going to be going this time around. So we see a barrack currently being built over here. We are going into double Blade Masters, as I already know. So it is going to be double Blade Masters against, most likely, we will be seeing Crypt Fiends coming in from Passion. Meanwhile, back over here, we are getting a barracks and just continuing this wall off here. And we'll see what Fly goes for. Fly is going for an Archmage. Archmage is relatively strong, but this map really favors Orc, in my opinion. The inclusion of that Fountain of Health in the center really helps high hit point units, because the Fountain of Health does do a regeneration, a percentage regeneration, as opposed to a flat hit point regeneration. So the higher the hit point unit, the faster it heals per second, just because that's how percentages work. Now that peon will be backing off. I believe the peon did catch sight of the Altar of Kings here, so both players do, or the orc players do know exactly where Fly is at this stage. Now we'll see what exactly DNA will be going for, and I don't want to spoil anything, as this game was pretty intense and pretty back and forth already. Archmage not going to try to take down this peon. Meanwhile, the Death Knight was a little bit late in joining the party, as he did go for a Graveyard first. Graveyard first in order to get those early Crypt Fiends. A Tome of Relic is also in play, as this peon will get destroyed in just a moment, and now the Water Elemental also getting some easy early damage back over here. Water Elemental perhaps going to try to do some creeping off over here to the north in just a little bit. The Grunt is taking a bit of damage already, but unlike in StarCraft 2, Water Elementals and just units tend to have a lot more hit points, and it takes a lot more focus in order for them to get destroyed. Blade Masters are in the center, attempting to creep out each of these green troll camps. They have been creeped out already, and both of them getting Claws of Attack +6. How do I know? If you guys don't know how I know, then you guys haven't really been listening to me already. So yes, double Claws of Attack +6 for the Blade Master. Blade Master also coming in and doing a bit of a creep steal, denying experience on that Archmage. Blade Master getting very close to level 2 right now, as the Archmage still sitting at level 1, only getting 2 kills so far. Meanwhile, the Death Knight is attempting to creep out this creep camp here. He does have a Rod of Necromancy, as the Blade Master may perhaps know he's not going to be able to get a quick steal, just getting a Windwalk Strike onto that Death Knight, Dust of Appearance onto the Death Knight, and the Death Knight also taking a Death Coil, which also stops the healing from that healing stab, which is much more important. Death Knight now wandering back home, gonna go ahead and just sit on the Blight for a little bit longer, perhaps get another Rod of Necromancy at some point if the cooldown has been completed. Now, taking a look, Spelp and his partner, DNA, have already started the tech to tier 2 and are about to complete. Now, with a strategy like this, air is very viable, just because with so many Water Elementals in the air, or with Water Elementals and Crypt Fiends, they are good against anti-air, but then your heroes are able to deal with that army. So what you want to do as an Orc player, as dual Orc, is if you can both go for Wind Riders and you know that your heroes can deal with the army, then your Wind Riders can in fact deal a lot of damage to the heroes and those other ground armies as well, as long as you're able to keep them alive. And there's nothing better at keeping units and air units alive than dual Shadow Hunters, which I believe will be coming out in just a moment. We'll see Stronghold about to be completed. DNA does have a fair amount of minerals and gold sitting already, so we may be getting that double Shadow Hunter started in just a moment. We can see now peons are returning back to work, or militia now returning back to work, as we are going into an Arcane Sanctum. Sanctum, very important if your opponent is going for double bestiaries, as you need to cast slow in order to minimize the damage and prevent retreats. If you can prevent the Wind Riders from retreating, then those Wind Riders are essentially glass cannons, and they take a lot, and it doesn't take much damage, or they can't absorb that much damage before they fall. Back over here, the Archmage almost could have gotten a surround on this Grunt down over here. It looks like the Grunt is just going to run away instead, perhaps try to live and fight another day. Blademaster still wandering around over here. I'm not quite sure if there was an expansion attempt tried to be set up over there anytime soon, as the Grunt now still down to 500, 400 hit points, attempting to run away, and that Grunt is taking a bit of damage. I don't believe that Grunt will really have anywhere to go, as the Archmage does move faster, and now in comes a Stormbolt from the Mountain King, and down goes that Grunt. Mountain King getting its first bit of experience. Blademaster now in the center. We are going into the double bestiaries, double Wind Riders, as I mentioned, and it is double bestiaries, as both players going into bestiaries, so there will be a lot of Wind Riders, and perhaps we will even get Envenom Spears. And Envenom Spears, getting poison with those units, very effective. Meanwhile, the Death Knight over here, it looks like he will be able to get to level 3 in just a moment. Needs to really focus down perhaps the Rock Golem first, as the Rock Golem has normal armor and does deal a fair amount of damage. More skeletal minions once again coming back online, or being summoned, and now in comes the Shadow Hunter and the Blademaster. It's going to be very, very difficult for the Blademaster and the Shadow Hunter to come in. There's only one Nerubian tower. Black Citadel currently being upgraded, as the little frog able to slip past, and Halls of the Dead was cancelled, it was cancelled in order to turn on the Halls of the Dead, slowing action once more. We do have a low hit point Hexed Ghoul now trying to run away. It looks like he will get taken down with a Windwalk Strike, as the Shadow Hunter now once again trying to pull away. Is the Death Knight going to be able to... a Death Coil, just missing the Shadow Hunter, as the Scroll of the invulnerability of the Scroll of Town Portal coming online. Down over here, it looks like the Archmage will get to level 2. Mountain King may get to Archmage level 3. Mountain King should get to level 2, as we also have that command aura for the Warsong Battle Drums, additional plus 10 damage across all units. Now, Shadow Hunter is going to be pushing in across the center as well. The Shadow Hunter does have some clarity potions. We can see Wind Riders are being added, and that is going to be a lot of damage to be had. And really, it's going to come down to the Crypt Fiends. The Crypt Fiends, if they get ensnare down or web down and are able to immobilize these Wind Riders and take them down, they can feed of a lot of experience to this Archmage. You can see that one low hit point Sorceress and a Rifleman both have been destroyed, as the Wind Riders are in the air, and they now maybe trying to do a push in the center portion of the map. Only one guard tower, and it looks like the Archmage is trapped inside his own base, unable to escape, as the Arcane Vault just going to be destroyed in a second. Alright, sorry for any more delays, as... yeah. Alright, so we're now going to see Passion and Fly just kind of getting stuck inside their own base off of a bad Scroll of Town Portal. It looks like the peons, or like the Crypt Fiends and the Riflemen are finally going to take down this farm, as we now see a movement coming in from the Orc player to now put some pressure onto the main base, perhaps over here. Now, unfortunately, we do not see any Spirit Towers, only Nerubian Towers, so those Spirit Towers are not going to deal nearly as much damage as those Spirit Towers, or Nerubian Towers are not going to deal nearly as much damage as the Spirit Towers would normally do, as the Nerubian only deal 9 to 10 and only really effectively slow units. You can now see the Halls of the Dead now attempting to train up another Acolyte, and this is going to be a problem if all the Acolytes do get taken down. All the Wind Riders are now attempting to take down the Halls of the Dead here. As you can see, healing waves keeping up a lot of these units and keeping them alive currently. One Acolyte looks like it will perhaps be able to escape, as now we are going to have a bit of an engagement here, as this one Acolyte coming back in to try to haunt the gold mine. Wind Rider still putting in a lot of pressure here as the Halls of the Dead down to 200 and some odd hit points, 100. It looks like it will get destroyed, and there is one Acolyte left. This Acolyte down to, oh, and it does get destroyed. So it looks like the last Acolyte has been taken down as the Wind Riders able to push back around, and that is going to be very, very sad day. And oh, what was that? Okay, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but that Acolyte looked like it just like popped out of nowhere. Like perhaps it was a frog, perhaps it got hexed, but because it was hexed, it just didn't look like an Acolyte, and perhaps it wasn't focused down. Meanwhile, we're going to see that this one Voodoo Lounge has been, or will get destroyed here in just a moment, as the Riflemen and the Crypt Fiends are doing a bit of a push. I do not see... I still do not, or have not seen any web being cast, and I think that's really been the issue. The Crypt Fiends have not had web, and they haven't been able to just slow down these Wind Riders, as the Wind Riders are now pushing in. Oh, there's web finally being cast. Free experience for the Death Knight. Death Knight will be able to take that down rather quickly, as now we are getting into a push over here. The Wind Riders able to destroy the guard towers rather quickly. Scout Tower also going to get destroyed, as well as any tower that is currently being built or upgraded is a light tower. Blade Master now just making its way in, running rampant through the space, as more Wind Riders are coming in, and it's looking like it's going to turn into a base race. A base race here on Lost Temple, and now a lot of peons, or sorry, one peon sticking away, throwing spears at this footman. Even a priest is joining in on the fight, attacking as opposed to trying to heal. And this may be a mistake for Fly, otherwise he may end up starting to lose units very needlessly. The Death Knight now finally going after the peons that are trying to repair. This one footman looks like it will get destroyed. Peons are now coming in over here, as it looks like Fly is trying to speed build a town hall. And if this town hall does get up and running, it will definitely help. But it looks like the Orc army will be making their way over to try to destroy all of these peons over here. Back over here, it looks like this one stronghold will get taken down. Mountain King coming in with a couple quick bashes and now attempting to destroy all the peons over here. There is still one peon hiding off over here at the 1 o'clock position, so Spelp will be able to rebuild even if all of these units do get destroyed. Spelp does jump inside that one Orc burrow. It looks like the Crypt Fiends will focus down the burrows. The burrows do give experience, as we now see the Orc army now once again trying to push in. There are 2 Spirit Towers this time around, though, so the Spirit Towers are going to deal a lot of damage to these Wind Riders, and now perhaps even also deal a lot of damage to these to the heroes, as well as the Wind Riders are not going to be able to deal nearly as much. Riflemen now trying to join in on the fight. The Riflemen are upgraded to 0 as well, as we now see a lot of towers being built over here on the bottom left-hand side as well. Wind Riders now pushing in. It looks like a lot of towers still being constructed. The towers being destroyed left and right. Wind Riders trying to go after Acolytes. Acolytes having a bit of a time, as the peasants perhaps should be trying to repair some of these Spirit Towers. Another Spirit Tower will come up in just a moment. Yes, they are repairing the Spirit Towers, as a 3rd Spirit Tower is now up, and those Wind Riders definitely need to get the heck out of Dodge. That is not going well for them. You can now see an Archmage attempting to run away. Looks like it will be able to barely run away, as he does get a stun back onto that one Archmage there, and it looks like this one, yes, that does get taken down by a Rifleman, and a lot of damage has been dealt. And now the standing army Spell now down to 195 hit points. Death Coil does not hit, as he uses a Scroll of Town Portal just in time to save that low hit point hero. So nicely done. The Shadow Hunter perhaps going to buy some healing salves and some clarity potions, once again try to come back in. Meanwhile, Ghoul is going to easily spot this Great Hall and attempt to destroy it, as well as this Great Hall currently does have a peon inside. Meanwhile, another expansion attempt coming in down over here. DNA is going to creep out this creep camp with a lot of Wind Riders. Blade Master is sitting at level 3. Shadow Hunter will get to level 3 very, very shortly. Only, 3 experience away from level 3. Meanwhile, back over here, a Bestiary and still training up, now transitioning into Raiders. Now the Fountain of Health in the center. It looks as though, yes, the Archmage, not quite sure why the Archmage isn't in the center of the map trying to regenerate some hit points. Perhaps that would be a very, very good regrouping. The Priest is also nearby to try to heal up the Archmage. Archmage should be able to get up to 300, 400 hit points in just a moment, as the Shadow Hunter is still wandering about and has to be a little bit careful. He does have a Speed Scroll, but a Speed Scroll does not work when you are stunned by the Storm Bolt of a Mountain King. Mountain King sitting at level 2, may get to level 3. Level 3 Storm Bolt, much more effective, as the Archmage now is simply charging up the ramp, and we're going to get a battle over here. Crypt Fiends getting, getting hexed over here, down to 239 hit points. Frost Armor going to save it, and then adding in a Death Coil as well. well. And the Frost Armor giving additional armor and also preventing the Blade Master from wanting to attack it. Otherwise, he would get slowed, and then he might get caught out of position. Archmage now walking straight into a line of towers. That is not good there, but the towers are going to get focused down rather quickly. Some quick webs now being brought in as well. One Wind Rider will go down. A second Wind Rider will go down as well as a healing wave finally comes in. The towers are all being destroyed. We are also getting a scroll of protection, so +2 armor. Very nice, as the Blade Master, I believe, used a health stone in order to stay alive. He does still have a scroll of healing, as the Blade Master now coming in, both sides battling it out. It looks like the Blade Master is going to be is slowed, and now that Mountain King is currently hexed, trying to run away, very low on hit points, down to 242. Blade Master may be able to catch up to it. It looks as though, yes, the Mountain King will be able to back off there. Meanwhile, the Archmage has been taken down at level 3, so the AM goes down, and that is going to be a problem as the spike does continue. And now the Mountain King comes back in, and this is going to be another issue there, as the Shadow Hunter may be able to get a hex off on it, getting a lot of damage. And now the Shadow Hunter are going to take to the high ground, and then perhaps get a hex from the high ground. And yes, from the high ground, able to hex down that Mountain King. Now that Mountain King turns around, throws a Stormbolt, and perhaps will be able to run away once again. You can see that the sorceresses are trying to stay alive, and oh, a Kodo Beast was trying to eat up a couple of those riflemen. That not going to work. Down goes that Kodo Beast, and now we see that the Lich and the Death Knight both very high level, and now the Lich needs the Frost Armor himself. Has to be very careful. Death Coil maybe coming in long distance to try to save it. Yes, there it is. Healing up 400 hit points, as now you can see that the Grunt is going to get destroyed there. The Death Knight now getting caught out of position. That's really bad for him. He may end up eating a hex, as the Riflemen are getting some easy damage, wind walking straight through this army, as now the Death Knight is dangerously low. Will it be enough, as still the Voodoo Lounge is currently being massively repaired by a lot of peons. One Rifleman may get taken down over here. The Mountain King still trying to run away, and it looks like, yes, it will get destroyed after a very long run. Didn't have enough mana in order to try to Stormbolt once more. Now Lich sitting at level 3, Death Knight sitting at level 4. They could get to level 5, but this is not looking good. There is still some gold being mined out over here by Passion, as we now see the Great Hall over here is up and running. Rifleman attempting to focus down more, and it looks like this Raider will get destroyed. Death Knight is in trouble, gets to level 5, but still gets taken down. The bonus experience, not enough. Lich now gets a Frost Armor off, perhaps trying to finish off this one. Blade Master is very slow right now from the Frost Armor, and no additional slow cast from that Sorceress, as the Blade Master trying to push in once again. Will it be enough? Dual Blade Masters against a very large army. And down goes another Grunt. The Lich, now sitting at level 3, is going to be in a little bit of an issue, and this Blade Master will be able to get a Wind Walk off just in time. Now this Priest needs to heal up all of these units. In comes another healing wave, saving the units. The Lich now overexposed, quickly getting ensnared, and that may be all she wrote for the Lich. Lich now once again trying to use that Frost Armor to stay alive, but the Blade Master is able to finish him off. A large army still, a lot of Riflemen, a lot of Crypt Fiends, one Sorceress, and I believe this Raider, it needs to get the heck out of there. It cannot stick around in this battle for very much longer, as now this standing army is just still so effective. In comes a new Raider. You can see back over here, Ghouls are now attempting to take down the Great Hall. We are resurrecting the Death Knight right now. No Tavern, so no instantaneous resurrections, as both sides have pretty much we still have mining coming in from DNA. So DNA mining off of one gold mine. The Blade Master now attempting to try to finish off all of these Ghouls. Will have no problem taking down these Ghouls, as now the Rifleman now perhaps going to try to take down this one Raider. The Raider does get healed, I believe, by a Scroll of Healing, but it may not be enough. One Rifleman may get destroyed in this exchange. Another Raider does get taken down as well, as the Sorceress is now in trouble. The Sorceress is getting healed, though, by a Priest, and now the Shadow Hunter, going to be absorbing a lot of damage. We still see Crypt Fiend sitting at 1-0 upgrades. This one Crypt Fiend very low on hit points. This Crypt Fiend getting low on hit points as well, but the Priest is still doing a good job of just trying to keep this army alive and continuing to bring the damage here. Riflemen need to focus down onto those units there. Otherwise, this is going to be a very, very difficult battle. Death Knight is finally going to come out. Wait for it. Wait for it. There it goes. Death Knight is finally back out, sitting at level 5, as now the Rifleman going to put some pressure and get some perhaps easy damage onto some of these heroes. In comes an Ensnare. Double Ensnare now coming in. Blade Master is dangerously low, taking a lot of damage. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability now quaffed. Blade Master is coming in from the backside as well. This Priest is very, very low. It needs to try to run away. It does get taken down, as the Blade Master, seen at level 52 hit points, at level 4, able to run away once more. You can see now that the Crypt Fiends are trying to focus down more of these units, as this Blade Masters has so much experience. It's not gonna really work out. The Raider may get taken down though, and yes, it will get taken down. And now the Death Knight is gonna have even more experience, perhaps gonna focus down this 33 hit point Raider. And yes, another Raider going to get destroyed. We're not quite sure. Going after a Grunt first, saving up another Death Knight, and now we can see that the Death Knight sitting at level 5 against 3 heroes and a couple of Raiders. The Death Knight going to get focused down a lot, getting ensnared once again. Does he have Death Pact? No. Oh, yes, he does have Death Pact. He uses a Death Pact and able to stay alive just a little bit longer. Unholy Aura, but does not have Boots of Speed. Speed Scroll now being used right behind him, as now in comes the Archmage. Where'd the Archmage come from? The Archmage... Where Archmage was resurrected at an altar back over here, so the Archmage is now back in this, as now I believe the Death Knight was taken down. Archmage sitting at level 4, yeah, sitting at level 4, but the level 5 Death Knight has fallen. The main army still dealing a lot of damage, and it looks like they are going to put some pressure into the expansion over here on the top left. And there is the GG coming in. So Fly now saying GG, and Spelp saying GG as well. So yes, it is going to be the game, and Passion and Fly losing to DNA and Spelp here on Lost Temple. I think this will probably be my only game to cast today, as I do have Wednesday night StarCraft that I need to prepare for. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.